reason why they didn't want the Beastmaster is probably due to the fact that they're going to be up against that Crystal Maiden with Frostbite. So the your boars wouldn't be quite as effective because the Crystal Maiden can just Frostbite them every time. Still, Electronic Boys, they do go for the Bounty Hunter now, so a very interesting position for in the current meta. There's been a lot of talks about this hero being quite broken, and I'd say if you do get off to a good start with those tracks, the game becomes infinitely easier for you. Of course, every team fight that you do win out, or even just even out for Electronic Boys now, as long as you get those tracks off, are going to be positive for the cut. However, they bring out the Void Spirit now on the cut side of things. And that should be the mid laner here for the cut, but it could obviously also be thrown in the off lane, if they so wish.
Yeah, you've got some flexibility on hand for the cut. Void Spirit against a potential puck mid is still fairly solid to have. Not the worst lane for the Void Spirit, not a very bad lane for the puck either. So rather even across the board, a lot of ways to play that one back to back. The big change for Electronic Boys, as you mentioned, Bounty Hunter does give them something to play with. So they can start playing with their puck timings here. They can start playing with the level 6 spikes on your puck Bounty Hunter, maybe add your offlaner or potentially a mid if they flex it off. They do go with Mars. That plays really well with your puck. It's another thing that plays with your Dream Coil, has an early spike, and Electronic Boys can kind of pick and choose what they want to lane. It should still be a puck mid, but in case they don't feel confident with how the draft closes out, they could put Mars mid, puck off. If for whatever reason they want that matchup, could still come out here as well.
No, that is fair. I wonder how the Mars is going to go laning up against that Wraith King, though. I don't think in particular the Mars is going to be that great at kind of forcing the Wraith King to not farm quite as well. I think the safe lane for the cut should still be pretty stock standard with the Wraith King versus Mars matchup. But I do agree with your point that the Mars puck is going to be a very, very good kind of team fight duo. Even with that Crystal Maiden having the freezing field to add on to that is probably going to be quite influential. Mind you, it's not going to be that easy to freezing field when you've got so many disables on the cut. So it is going to be very, very hard for this Maiden to actually get that ultimate off and get a good channel off. But assuming you can find the right position and the right time, you never know what they could get done. Still, the last ban is yet to come out now from the cut. Looks like they are just focusing in on banning out those position 1s now for speed. Of course, last game we saw the Monkey King, but he did have a bit of a struggle on that Monkey. They could go down the same route as it has not been banned out, so they could still try for that, and I wouldn't really mind seeing it. Problem is, though, into the Wraith King, it does scare me a little bit.
Yeah, I still think Monkey into Wraith King isn't too bad. You just do need that initial farm. The issue is going up in your lanes. Again, you've got this Witch Doctor or the Nyx that's already potentially going to cause you some trouble there. They go with the Jug instead, a bit of a safer play. So they've got Sustain coming out with their Jug. They can play around with the Omni Slash timings, perhaps even going for a Battle Fury build to give speed that farming core. So you do have a good lineup to kind of complement that. Your supports and your 2 other cores do want to play fast early on. Your Jug can just focus in on really just farming. We saw Speed kind of forced to go around the map and try to join his teams in fights, but the Jug should be a lot more oriented towards at least a mid-game farm here, and he does have the spin to get away from all of this control if things get dicey.
No, that's fair enough. The one thing that does concern me for that Jug is the fact that the Wraith King can just farm so much faster, though. That's the one thing that does scare me right now for Electronic Boys, so we'll see if they can keep up. Obviously, the laning duo of Crystal Maiden and Jug is pretty powerful, though. Has been for pretty much ever since Dota existed, so see if they can get some kills going. As of now, it looks like the cut are still looking for a bit of an offlaner here for their last pickup. Again, it could still be the Void Spirit offlane if they so wish, but I think you'd prefer something a little bit different. What will it be? Something that doesn't really mind the Crystal Maiden Jug too much. Gonna need some form of escape, or just overall tankiness to be able to sustain through this lane.
They could go for, I don't know, some like a Brewmaster still in the pool if they wanted that. Something bog standard, like say a Centaur could be good. Maybe a Sand King if they want to team fight here for the cut as well. Could be options. I still feel like they want to just pile on some push though. and you do run a bit of a risk if you still opt for, say, an Enigma. It's not going to be a very easy game in terms of overall push. But they go with the LC instead, so that's one way to hold that lane steady. Just overwhelming odds out, try to get some farm up. Going to be an interesting game number 2. I think Electronic Boys have fixed some of the drafting issues they had from game 1. We're going to have to see how well Mio holds his mid lane this time up against Lil Nick's Void Spirit, but overall I think this is a lot more even. I would have to say that this time around I think I still lean towards Electronic Boys draft. They just need to play around their timings. They need to give Double A very quick level 6, and they need to play with their Puck, Coil, and the Arena coming out from Giant. If they can get that done, then they should be able to keep the cut down, but we saw the cut kind of orient themselves around Raid King and around Lil Nick's timings as well, so it's going to be a tall order to get that done here in game number 2.
Now that's fair. Funnily enough, I'm kind of leaning towards the cuts draft here just because I have so much faith in the Wraith King. If I'm honest, up against the Jug, I just think that Scourge McDuck still has a nice advantage there. And I guess I am being a little bit biased here because Pingu's Witch Doctor last game was just so potent. But I can see it going either way, honestly. Only time is going to tell. Props to the cut, though. That LC last pick does seem very potent in the safe lane as well. So I do like what I'm seeing there. And we'll go into game number 2, and we'll see if Electronic Boys can force this out to a game number 3, or whether it is going to be a 2-0 victory. We are very split on what draft looks better here, so I am very, very curious to see what either team can get done. We'll get into it, John. Game number 2. I have to agree with your point as well, by the way, that if they can get the start that they need on Electronic Boys, if they can get this Bounty Hunter, if they can get the tracks going early on, it could really turn into a big problem here for the cut.
Just business.
Yeah, they just need to hit that timing. That was the big issue in game 1. You had Mio fall behind, and then you also had Speed and Giant fall behind as well. You can't afford to have all of your cores just wanting to farm up. There should be a bit more activity here, and if they do lag behind, well, if Double A has his level 6, you just go for these pickoffs. That is one way to rebound with a Bounty Hunter draft. So there are more options here for Electronic Boys to kind of nail that mid-game snowball that they want to find here.
Absolutely. See Double A just kind of having a look around the map, seeing what he can scout out. He does have a nice Observer Ward on him, so he could make the rotation into the mid lane and put a nice deep Observer Ward down if he so wishes. And it looks like that's about the way he's going, but no, he's going to rotate back down to the bot lane, where they may attempt to set up a first blood. But nobody's going to come over. So it's going to be a 2-for-2 Bounty Rune trade to start things off. And ultimately, Double A is going to go up with Albinos, bruh. Up towards that top lane. They might try to set up a first blood there along with their Jug. Of course, level 1 spin, it's not quite the damage you'd want, but with 2 other heroes nearby, it can be very, very effective in just getting an early first blood attempt. Well, he's not going to have the Spike Carapace up at level 1, of course, so he might be in danger. Does get caught out as Albinos. He's going to get spotted out. We're going to keep eyes on Vol. Looks like they want to try for Tingle King instead, and here we go. They're going to jump in with the Invis going straight onto Tingle, but what an impale. Vol getting the impale straight off the bat. Speed, he was waiting for a bit more damage to pop the spin off, but maybe waited just a bit too long, and that impale is going to stop the first blood attempt from occurring.
And you'd want to break this tri lane as fast as possible here for Electronic Boys.
Oh,
spreading a lot of EXP and just fall again.
I don't believe he knew the bounty was there that time around, and now he might be in trouble as he has been slowed up. Double going to follow him down, and Vol should definitely be in trouble. Looks like he is going to die anyway. He'll give the first blood over to the bounty, and he will TP straight back down to the bot lane. That is definitely a very nice start, though, for the side of Electronic Boys.
Yeah, that's what you want to see with this draft. You need to get a running start in that Bounty Hunter. They do find themselves a nice pickup. This is still going to be a pretty tricky lane now for Speed to hold, but that does give us a bit of an opportunity to look around as they are just going to get levels now. Down mid, you do have Mios falling low up against Lil Nick, and Lil Nick is still, again, working this lane quite well. 5-5 on our Void Spirit. Whereas Mio, you know, he's not lagging too far behind in last hits, but those denies are certainly hurting. And he's got to watch himself. We've seen Lil Nick get away with an early start. Looks like he is setting up for that same kind of momentum here in game number 2.
You know, that he is. Lil Nick is playing this very well. You know, you'd argue should have not necessarily an advantage, but he should be able to even out this lane quite easily. But Lil Nick just being a real pain on that Void Spirit. Being very effective thus far, though. Top lane, there is a spin going on. Tingle King being chased down again. Albino's trying to follow up, but the stun is going to be there. Tingle, he hits a Fairy Fire. The Crystal Nova is not going to land. He's still running. One more hit will do it from speed. But no, the salve does come out in time. And in fact, Vol is still chasing down this Maiden. He has an Impale in 1 second, but he will not be able to get it off in time. So he does what he really wanted, which is save Tingle King from going down. Very, very close call for this Legion Commander.
Yeah, but you're still going to be happy about that. Like, you drain a lot of resources on the CM, which forces, you know, that forced a couple of mangoes out. Albino Zebra is going to have to ferry some more region out to hold this lane. And you're still quite healthy on the side of the cut. So Vol, again, has a lot of mana to play with, and he's going to be able to just contest these pulls. Tingle, though.
Oh, speed. Solo kill out onto the LC. No Albino Zebra necessary. Speed, of course. With that level 2 spin, it is a pretty big influx in damage. Be a bit more careful there on the side of the cut. Of course, the last lane we haven't really talked about yet is going to be Scourge, McDuck, and Pingu up against Giant and Doubler. Like Scourge McDuck having a very, very good time thus far, 21-3. In fact, they are going to make a play onto the Mars now, but a nice spear away from Giant. Pingu, however, a great cast scout bouncing between the two. They don't have enough damage to finish Giant off. In fact, Doubler is still going after Pingu. In fact, Scourge McDuck, he does at least get a courier for his trouble. Pingu is going to survive. Scourge McDuck, he'll take a bit of damage on his way out, but ultimately is going to be fine. This lane will continue as it has been, going very, very well for the cut thus far. And now they'll try onto the bounty. The stuns were there, but another nice spear out from Giant to make sure that Scourge McDuck cannot get any hits in.
Yeah, they're holding this offlane quite well. Not quite the most solid Morse combination, so we're not seeing anything like a Rubik Lift with our Bounty Hunter, but they're still making it a hard lane for Scourge to hold. He is still having a good time in last hits, though. 27-4. And they are slowing down some of that gold influx with the Janata, but it's not going to be enough to keep Scourge McDuck down. So they're going to have to apply a little bit more pressure here to ensure that Scourge doesn't get off to his own snowball, as we've seen in Game 1. It's the same hero. If he meets the same timings, you're going to have some issues in this lane.
Albino Zebra up at the top lane almost went down. Of course, so did our Nyx Assassin being played by Vol, but both of them managed to barely survive. Vol was able to stick around for those bounty runes up at top lane, but Doubler is able to get the others down at the bot lane. And with those Tranquils up on Vol, it's not too hard to just stick in lane.
Ooh.
Ingu.
Ouch.
Ends up taking down Doubler. I'm assuming that was that level 2 Melody kicking in.
Yeah. It's the Sentry giving a lot of value in the lane. They didn't get the D ward off, so if you do walk in there, AA is not going to be very comfy in that spot. Overall, this kind of start for the cut is still favoring them slightly. They are behind in kills 1-2, but they are taking the slight net worth lead. That's boom.
Speed's in trouble, but they have rotations coming in. Still press the attack. Going to purge off the Frostbite, but now Vol's going to be in danger. Nice box out from our bounty. Vol should die and does. Nice pick up there from Doubler. Going to make his rotation back towards the mid lane now. In fact, no, never mind. He'll chase down Tingle for a bit. It's still a very nice start for Electronic Boys in comparison to Game 1. Say Doubler is having a lot more influence on this bounty. In fact, he gets a courier just before he gets the Tingle as well. Very, very nice plays. I believe that was the phase boots perhaps coming out. No, in fact, it wasn't. It was a bracer slash the part of the phase boots.
Yeah, a bit of a waste for Tingle King. This top lane's really having a hard time with Doubler around here. Like, they're just keeping that pressure up with the Bounty Hunter. This is the shakeup we needed to see from Electronic Boys. They're applying that early pressure. They're finding these early kills. This will lead to an early level 6 as well.
Giant was in a bit of danger, but the raindrop is going to save him from ultimately dying out there. With that being said, like, you're definitely securing Speed's farm, but you have kind of sacked your Mars now. I'm not sure whether that's really going to be too big of a concern, as it does seem like they really want to make sure their Jug has a good game in game number 2. It might be the way to go. Again, your Mars might suffer just a bit trying to farm up this lane by himself.
Yeah, it's not going to be steady progress for Giant. I think you are compensating with not just your Jug, but with Mio having a better start here as well. Like, it's not as bad going. And you even got AA just stalking Tingle King. So that free farm, the LC wants to get, the EXP you want to get in the jungle is just constantly contested by the bounty. And AA has really been setting the pace here for Electronic Boys, contesting a lot of that movement out and just keeping eyes on the cut, making it hard for them to really make rotations out. This is a slower game for the cut. We're not seeing movements out from Vol down mid. They do have this level 8 spike on Lil Nick. They haven't really made any plays for the Astral Step, so just not a lot of emphasis on early kills coming out here for TC.
Oh, nice little remnant there onto Mio. Impale not going to land on either. Mio, he'll be able to orb away. I was about to kind of talk about how well this bounty's been doing as well, John. Almost got the power rune away from Lil Nick, but he did have the faster fingers. Did manage to get a nice invis rune for himself. But it also helps that Lil Nick has an Ocean Heart on him right now. So every mid laner's dream in the early stages of the game is to get that Ocean Heart up, as you're just going to have constant HP and mana regen coming in. And it's a 1-3 slight net worth lead for Electronic Boys. I'm still worried for them though when you look at Scourge McDuck. He is still farming a bit too well, and he is going for the Radiance Rush again. And once the Radiance comes out, I mean, you can keep farming or you can just group up with your team and fight. Either way, it is going to be quite impactful.
It definitely is. Like, this space for Scourge is exactly what he wants from this lane. And despite being 1-3, the 1k lead for Eboys isn't that big. You're still seeing a lot of cores from the side of Radiant up top, and they could make some plays here in Giant.
Oh, they are going to. Lil Nick even going to rotate now. They drop the arena, but with Lil Nick around, it's going to be a very easy kill. But here comes Mio with a 3-man Dream Coil, but can he get anything done with this? Not quite. In fact, Mio now is going to be in danger. He has no orb away just for the moment. They will kill off the Witch Doctor, and now he's going to try and jaunt away, but Lil Nick is still on the chase. He does not have any more Astral Step charges, so instead they'll go after the bounty, but Doubler is in the invis, and Lil Nick is still trying to chase down the puck. Might just stick around here for that 10-minute bounty rune. Looks like he should be able to get it. But here comes Giant. He gets spotted out. Meanwhile, towards the north, they found Mio, but he's going to be able to just phase shift out of there and walk away. Giant able to kill off the Nyx Assassin. Now, they do lose the bounty, but it won't matter too much, as now Lil Nick mid lane goes after Albino Zebra. Cask out, that's going to be his life gone. Pingu just going to walk away now.
Yeah, it's a good set of pickups for the cut. They do at least contest those runes just a bit. Again, Eboys, their lead is just so small that it's bouncing back and forth with the cut.
Uh-oh.
And
Nice remnant. Cask. Yeah, it's not going to matter. Vol is still around, though.
Mio canceled his TP mid.
He did.
Mio's going to have to walk mid. It's a lot of time. I guess he didn't want to... We saw this in game 1 where he TP'd mid and just constantly got picked off. I guess he remembered. That with a cast around with a control, it's still a very precarious spot.
Giant, big danger. Nice setup there from Vol, who'll try to spear away Pingu, but he is certainly going to die here, and he will. But Mio now going to try and turn around with the Dream Coil, but again, you just don't have the follow-up damage. At least Pingu is being chased down, but the cask does come out, and he is going to be safe. So Electronic Boys, again, not able to really get anything done. It seems like as soon as Lil Nick got involved with the team, he is really pulling this game back their way.
Yeah, definitely. He's holding this mid lane again. He's got this EXP advantage over the puck, and they're holding steady. They're playing around that timing now on the Void Spirit. You can see the smoke out from Pingu. Lil Nick still wants to find some kills.
Scourge McDuck, he's in a bit of danger. He might turn around and fight this one out with the Reincarnate. His team is following up now, but he's been speared up to the arena walls. Mio even going to show up on the puck. Is it going to be enough? The cask is there. Scourge McDuck trying to heal up with the lifesteal. He cannot. He does go down, but they do kill off Giant. Into Mio now. This puck is in big, big danger. Lil Nick does find another. Now, overall, you lost your Wraith King, but it's not too bad of a trade if you are the cut. Thing is that Wraith King death was a track kill going to the way of Electronic Boys, so the goal does even out.
Yeah, you're still fairly happy as the Eboys. You really don't want to keep dropping Mio though. You need that spike on him. You want that blink up on your puck ASAP. And you also need the Yules up on your Mars. So losing them after that kill is still not ideal. And the cut, they're not going to be dissuaded too much. Scourge is still farming pretty darn well, especially in comparison to Speed. Speed is still lagging slightly behind. He is going for the Battle Fury build in the Jug though, so once you do have that on the Jug, your farm does kick up quite a fair bit. Just needs to focus in, hunker down, keep doing what he has been, just focusing on getting that key item up.
Surprisingly enough, John, we're 13 minutes into the game and neither team has gotten a tier 1 tower yet. Definitely a bit unorthodox here from either side. More Impale from Vol, not going to land. He's just going to get tracked and he'll walk away. You've seen Scourge McDuck. He's back up to that top lane. He wants to get the push started. He may be a little bit preemptive though with the Reincarnate. He may not want to go in. Looks like the pings are coming out and Scourge McDuck is going to try and commit for this. Meanwhile though, Speed is going to start trying to pressure the mid lane to force him back, but Tingle King is going to be there with their Void Spirit. I don't think Speed can really stick around here too long. So instead, they'll start to push down to the bot lane where Vol is trying to defend. He does show himself with that Impale, but he is juking them out quite nicely with the tree line. They actually could not catch him out. The orb is going to be there. Mio looking for a Dream Coil, does get it out, but the Dream Coil is going to be snapped straight away, but that'll allow Giant to get a nice spear off. Into the mid lane they go. The tier 1 tower is being forced in by Lil Nick, but now he's on the run. Have 2 Astral Step charges, however, so I believe they can't really kill him. In fact, they might just turn around now. Albino in danger. Tingle trying to find a jewel, but he's been speared up into the arena. Pingu trying to heal him up, but the freezing field is going to fly out. Now Lil Nick trying to fight back. He can kill off Albino, and he does. Still a very good trade there for Electronic Boys. They did have to expend those ultimates though, so Pingu, he wants to go back in with the Death Ward, but the spear will cancel it off. Lil Nick keeping up the pressure in that mid lane. Be careful not to get caught out. Speed is going to be there with Mio and Giant. They don't have a Dream Coil yet, but they do find the Nyx Assassin. But that spear knocks him away from the Sentry Ward. Oh, they don't have Dust either. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Bit of a mistake there from Giant.
Yeah, it's a missed opportunity. They do go back on farming. The Battle Fury's up on Speed, so you can start to build up that farm he needs to have on hand to counteract the spikes from a Wraith King. So they're finding a bit of a better start. They are still fairly even here as well.
I'm going to say, nice dust out from Pingu, but it's their follow-up. Oh, Vol, he comes in from the side. He does catch out the bounty. Now Scourge McDuck does get the stun off, and Lil Nick is going to be there with the follow-up. And you've got to give props to the cut, John. They are really, really good at rotating. Even if they are split up across the map, they somehow always make their way to the position they need to be in to pick up a kill. They do it once again onto this bounty.
Yeah, you can see it's the difference in coordination. The cut really seems to have their comms open a lot more compared to Electronic Boys right now. Like, you need to play around your bounty, although...
No. Remnant actually going to catch up Mio on the puck. Arena going to be there with a nice spear, and a Dream Coil is massive. They do kill off Lil Nick. That's a great start, but now the jewel comes out from the LC into the Death Ward. It's not going to be enough, however. The Yules cancels off the Death Ward channel, and they'll keep moving forward. Double are trying to get those tracks out. Not going to be enough. Giant still trying to force in that tier 1 mid tower. This bounty does loop in from the backside. But he is underneath the Sentry Ward, and now Vol's shown up. Giant, TP away. No Impale out from our Nyx. Instead, he might just go after Albino Zebra, and he does. A nice Impale there to set up. And with that, that'll be a nice, easy kill for Tingle. Would have loved to have the jewel there for that free damage, but unfortunately for him, it was on cooldown.
Yeah, you are seeing fairly even trades across the map. I think you're going to be happy as the cut. You prevent the push on your mid-tier 1, which still stands. The opposing side, Electronic Boys, do have their tier 1 standing as well, but look at this. Scourge has his Radiance. He's ready to make the move down mid. So this is the spike for Wraith King, and this is when he can start to join these fights, make use of his 2 lives a lot better, compared to our Juk, who still needs to just farm up. We've got to watch for this from Scourge.
Well, they're coming in. They want to start this fight. Speed, he gets started with the spin, but that's dangerous. He's left himself vulnerable now. Speed gets stunned up. Impale is nice. Into the Remnant, and the Melodic is going to be there, but the Omni Slash does come through just in the nick of time. They get 1 life. It'll be the Reincarnate, but now the Jewel comes out from Tingle. The arena is down, but it is a bit too late, I believe, as they get the CM. They'll get Giant on the Mars. Onto the Bounty. AA, he cannot sustain through the damage.
Know your weakness.
I don't think you can start off the fights with spin like that. You've got to save it for a bit of an escape plan here for the Jug. I think Speed kind of considered the Omni Slash to be the escape plan, but did not work out.
I don't think Speed should be fighting at all right now. Just the battle fear doesn't mean the Jug's ready to go. There are so many tanky heroes here on the side of the cut. They've got regen on hand from their Witch Doctor and from the Legion Commander. There's a lot the Jug has to eat through, and you just don't have the items to do that right now. So focus in on that farm. Again, let the 4 heroes on the side of Eboys do the heavy lifting around the map for now. Just get this Jug up to speed. Looks like Speed is going to be farming up the Yasha first, which is fairly standard. Not going to be enough to really turn, but they might go for Tingle King.
They're going to try. It's not going to be that easy. With the press the attack, he purges off the track. Vol's coming in from the backside, and he'll spot out both. They want speed. They want the big one. It's going to be the Jug. Vol does get started with the hit. Now into the Impel, and the Remnant to follow, and they got the Jewel off as well. Just perfect play out, especially from Vol on this Nyx Assassin. Always in the right position. He could be in a spot of danger now, though, as Giant and Mia do come in to clean him up. They need a bit more than that to make it even. They drop the arena straight onto Tingle King. Could be another track kill if they can get it, but Tingle is still alive. He is out of mana, however, and his press the attack is on cooldown, so he will die. That Pingu, even getting caught out, but the Death Ward is going to fly out onto AA. Is it going to be enough with the Melodict? It may be, and I think it just might be. AA is going to try and run, but he's dead. I'd still say that is not worthwhile for Electronic Boys, even if it was some track kills.
No, I mean, you're dropping speed. You're literally dropping speed. Your Jug is just dying all the time. You really just need him to farm. Don't have him even show in lane, and another smoke immediately pop.
Why the hell not? Albino, no, they're just going to go straight after the Mars, but the freezing field is out. It's a big one, but no, it's going to be stunned up with the Spike Carapace. Giant trying to walk away from this. He's been Maledicted. He's in big trouble. They'll get the spear off onto the Void Spirit. He's going to try and fight this one out. They do not get Lil Nick, and Tingle King will be able to get some more jewel damage for himself now on the LC. Another great set of pickups for the cut, as now even Scourge McDuck shows back up at that top lane. And just keeps pressuring Speed out of the lane, and Speed is really struggling to find any form of farm on this map.
Yeah, you're seeing Scourge really pull ahead here. 12k on that Wraith King, 9.2 on Speed, so a 3k difference here on hand. Not what you want to see from a Jug Battlefield. Again, this is down to the fact that Speed's died twice since picking this up. He just needs to get that space in this jungle, maybe drop a couple of wards in the top jungle as well, just to keep him safe. The cut now, excellent timing coming out from Tingle King. He had 2 dual wins with level 1 duel. After getting level 2, just doubles his damage to 40. He's got the blink on hand. They've got a lot of ways to approach these engagements now on the side of the cut, and this is now the time for them to just keep that ball rolling. They can have Scourge join in if he wants to, but I think as 4, they have a lot of a bigger spike here with their 4k lead.
Pingu places a ward down. He's going to be chased up. Oh, Tingle, he's put himself on the cliff. That is not what he wanted. A bit of a misblink out. He will TP away now. Death Ward is going to be there. He's got the shards up. Pingu will juke out a lot of the damage, but he will eventually go down. Gotta love that shards, John. It's a cute one for the Witch Doctor. Meanwhile, double A, oh, they know exactly where he is. Jewel comes out from Tingle King. Do they have the damage in time? No, they do not. He does not get the Jewel damage, but they do pick up the kill.
Yeah, it ends up being a support for a support. Not too unhappy about that if you are Eboys. Going back onto Pingu, he loves that shards. Like, he did the same thing in game 1. Early shard pickup, just to get himself some juke out, and just to give him a little bit more damage as needed as well. And you can see the confidence in the cut. Dagon, Nyx coming out for Vol, no utility, no Force Staff, no Yields, nothing like that. Just Dagon with the Ag Shard queued up as well. I love seeing this on Nyx. And that is going to cause a lot of damage, especially once that shard is up. These heroes are going to be really squishy to that magical burst.
They're going for the Roshan now, the cut. Scourge McDuck, he's already got the Radiance AC up. This is a very, very tanky Wraith King. I don't think you can fight this Roshan. If you are Electronic Boys right now, you've got to let it go. But things have just gotten worse now. Lil Nick, he has the full Aghanim Scepter. So the AoE silence is going to be there, plus the 2 charges of Resonant Pulse, and they found their first target. It's going to be the CM. The Albino Zebra going down. Into Vol, who's going to scout out Speed, and Speed needs to run. He knows. Vol is still keeping eyes. He wants the Impower from the high ground. This is some ballsy play here from our Nyx Assassin, but he knows there's no sentries around. He tests it out, but there's nothing.
It's going to be a free push for TC, a tier 2 mid, and all E-Boys can do is just stare at
Bot lane.
Electronic Boys falling behind.
Another Jewel out. It's not going to be enough, but they do have the overwhelming odds to finish off the kill. So Tingle King getting another solo pick-off for himself. Would have loved the Jewel damage, but you can't always get what you want. Kill's going to be nice enough.
Yeah, it's still a really good pickup to have, and Electronic Boys, they haven't been playing around the bounty as much as we'd expect. Like, after missing out a couple of kills, they've went back into this farming pattern where all of them are playing in the jungle. I don't think you can afford to have every single core playing there. It's on Giant and Mio to really buy space out in the map, show themselves up there, play with the blinks they've got.
Speaking of Mio, John, he's in big trouble. He just orbed into the lane. Lil Nick tells him about it as well. You can't orb in like that. It's not safe, not up against the Void Spirit, and now Lil Nick, he's feeling confident. He wants to go for a bit more. Albino Zebra, be in danger. Impel was there, Dagon outspeed. He's the target, but he does spin away with the healing ward. He's left Giant behind. The Jewel does come out with the Death Ward. It's going to be more than enough. And Lil Nick is still chasing down the CM while Scourge McDuck goes back after the Speed. They do get the Yules off into the Dissimulate Speed. Omni is going to fly out, but the damage is not really that high. Scourge McDuck just keeps going after this Jug, but they can't dive the tier 3 tower. Not quite yet anyway.
The Legion is grateful.
With that, they'll go for a reset. No need to rush. They've got the whole map underneath their control. The card, John, with a 9k net worth lead, they are looking so good going into this game too. You're kind of in that similar position for Electronic Boys now, where you kind of ask yourself, how do you come back from this?
Yeah, it's a difficult spot. Like, even if you get the Omni Slash off in a big way, you saw what happened with Speed. With the AC up, wasn't enough. With a Diffusal here on Speedo, maybe it helps the cause a bit. I still don't think it's going to be quite enough to get the damage off onto even Scourge. Although Scourge is alone, but he's always got his team to back him up. And that last outer tower now for Electronic Boys, not long for the world, as they're stuck in the same spot as Game 1 at around this time. High ground is pretty much the only thing left for them, and they do have decent team fight in the high ground. Arena plus Coil is still big. They just need to find an angle somehow.
You look at Scourge McDuck, John. He's so out of control. He's got an SNY up. He's going for the shards next to make matters worse for Electronic Boys. They've got a siege creep, so they're going to drop the skeletons now to get started on this tier 3 tower. Giant does clear them out, and Mio will jump in onto the Nyx Assassin with the silence out, and Speed is going to rush in, but the Spike Carapace is there. Spear will hold him down, but Vol is quite tanky. He will finally drop. They've lost Albino Zebra, and now Scourge McDuck, he'll just keep going. They know they can't fight him. He'll go into the tier 3 by himself, mind you. Giant is almost going to die, but he'll drop the arena. Speed is going to go back in with Mio on the puck, but Scourge McDuck is just standing his ground. He does finally die, however. He did not have mana for the reincarnate, I don't believe.
Yeah, he didn't see the defusal on Speed. He didn't respect that defusal spike on the jug. So he's going to be paying for that. He needs to wait for his shard if he wants to make that play. And he did have it. It's just that he didn't have it on hand for that fight. So rather unfortunate for Scourge, but a great pickup for Electronic Boys. That's going to slow down the cut just a bit. They've still got this 10k lead. They've still got the Aegis running on Lil Nick for about half a minute. So not too much time left for Void Spirit Second Life. But there's a lot more that Electronic Boys need to get done. They're doing the right thing with the space though. They're just farming the triangle while they can. You are inching closer towards a Manta for Speed. Not going to be up anytime soon, but at the least it's sort of on its way there. You've got the Blink Yules combo on Giant ready to go, and you've got the Ags upgrade on Mio. So you do have ways of really taking these fights onto your end, and it's just a matter of catching the right hero out with track now.
I love a good comeback, John, if that's what we're about to see, but Vol is getting started once again on Albino Zebra. There's the jewel flying out. They can't save him, but they do drop the arena. They're going to try and turn this one back around. The Melodic is already out onto Giant, however, and they just can't get through to the raw HP of Tidal King. Excuse me, Tingle King. Everyone, apart from that CM, is going to be able to walk out of there. And the cut. While they might not go high ground again, they are going to still control this map, control the dire jungle. It is going to force the side of Electronic Boys to just take the more dangerous style of farm. Speed is making his way over to the Radiant jungle, but you've got to give props to Speed now, John. He is catching up quite quickly when it comes to net worth.
Yeah, he's just about 4k behind, which is a better spot than it was last time. It's still a severe gap between him and Scourge, but he is at least above Lil Nick now. So your Jug does have some itemization up. Still, again, a long way away from Manta style. Still need to see that Dream Coil in effect. Like, I do want to see Eboys play with their Arena Blink combination. They do smoke up here with all these spells up.
Well, your wish is going to be granted. They don't really want to go onto Pingu if they could find somebody else. They may just have to settle for the easy kill, though. Like, it looks like they are going to make their way up towards Lil Nick, as they did see him clearing out the creep wave in that top lane.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
Going to find him. Alright, maybe they should have gone after Pingu. So at least they would have gotten that bonus track gold, but now they'll find nothing.
Yeah, it's just more time here for the cut to kind of work this map, and every single time you waste a smoke like that, you lose a smoke. You know, it's like it's got a timer on it if you do expend all of them. So Eboys is going to have to wait a little bit, and it's now time for the cut to make their move around.
Bol going to move in with the Vendetta, just scouting things out. Again, no sentries to actually catch him out, so he's just going to go in from the backside. Now he wants to get started, but Spin is there from Speed very early on, and they do get the kill. Tingle King moving in with the blink, and he gets a jewel off, but the Aghanim Scepter Dream Coil is not going to do anything. Just not going to help out. Onto double A they go. Lil Nick got him controlled up with the stun out from Scourge McDuck. They'll get another. And in fact, it's not even over. Albino Zebra was spotted, but they want to go after Giant. Tingle King following him down as Scourge McDuck will go after the CM instead, and that'll be another kill out for Lil Nick, as Giant, he's not out of the woods yet either. They don't have the jewel to lock him down, but they have heroes TPing in, and Lil Nick might just be all they need as he gets the Yules off. Double Yules is there. Now Albino Zebra even giving the tip over to Giant. It's looking very, very tough. Look at Scourge.
Yeah, it's a difficult position. Yeah, just solo pushing. No, there's nothing they can do to stop it. Just Mio can only pull the creep wave away. That's it. Scourge has got a lot of time to just melt this tier 3. Should fall without backward kicking in. And the Fortify comes out too late as well. So now they don't have the Fortify for the bigger push with the racks coming out.
It'll be very, very tough to try and defend this. Giant doesn't want to buy back. He only has about 18 seconds left, but Vol just jumps in with the Dagon and deletes Albino Zebra. He might go down himself, as now Scourge McDuck is going to go in. Remnant won't land, but Lil Nick just jumping straight in at speed. He gets blown up. The damage output from Lil Nick is just so darn high. Combo that with Scourge McDuck, who's at the top of the net worth board, and you are going to get deleted. They will buy back. Scourge, he's just not afraid. He'll just keep going. He might even kill off Mio on the puck. They do manage to save him. Death Ward is going to fly out. It was just the shard Death Ward from Pingu. Scourge McDuck's still alive. He has the second life anyway. It's not even necessary. Speed's going to go down. That's a dieback on the Jug. Now onto Double A. He's going to go down, and Speed calls it. He has had enough. The cut just looking way too good in this series. We'll take it out 2-0. To get started with their own debut in the NA DPC. And you did see a few moments of brilliance there from Electronic Boys, John, but it just wasn't enough today.
No, definitely not. The cut played extremely well. Their timings were just on point. Lil Nick really dominating his mid lane. This time around, not as strong of a domination, but he still got that snowball off. Electronic Boys, there were some shining moments. I think their Game 2 draft was an improvement compared to Game 1, but I don't think it was overall a draft issue. It was really down to execution. You can see that the cut seemed to be a lot comfier with each other. Like they seem to know what each player wants to do, what timings they want to hit, what fights they want to take. Whereas the Electronic Boys, it seems like maybe a little more gelling together needs to come out. We saw them hit some good timings on Double A. They had some decent blink timings actually under Puck and Mars, but they couldn't really maximize it the same way the cut was maximizing their own power spikes earlier on. So I think that's something that Electronic Boys should consider fixing up. But otherwise, a very good debut for the cut. And this is one of those teams that a lot of people would probably consider, like a dark horse. They did come in on the open qualifier 4 because of that whole scuffle with teams and one team kind of getting removed. And they were like the dark horse coming in, but they're proving themselves for that first series.
Absolutely. Of course, I can see the boys asking if there's going to be an interview. I don't believe there is going to be an interview. I haven't been told that we have to do any interviews, so I wasn't quite set up for one. I suppose maybe we should set it up for the next games, but as far as I'm aware, there's no interviews for now with the winners. But I suppose you and I could just set it up for our next games in the lower division. We can have it prepared for these winners, of course. With that, though, that is going to be it for today. Of course, for the cut, big congratulations to them. A very dominant victory for Electronic Boys, John. You can see that they've got the right idea. They're just got to get that coordination under wraps, and I'm sure the next time we'll see them will be, they'll be a bit better going into their next series. Apologies, I was just having to read at the same time as talk. With that, it is MLP on JohnXFire. It's been an absolute pleasure, and we'll see you next time for some more great NA DPC.